You're watching Central Illinois' best source for news and weather. WAND News at 4 starts now.
Keeping a memory alive, now at 4, the family of fallen Champaign police officer Chris Oberheim announced a new way to honor their hero. Plus, making a splash with just hours until opening day, an inside look at Decatur's newest attraction. We're going to start with developing news first at 4. A teen is dead, another hurt after being shot on the Taylorville Square. A third teen is behind bars charged in this shooting. The investigation lasted hours and it shook this small town. Today we are learning more about those who are involved. WAND's Megan Whitlock is in Taylorville with what we are learning. Hi, Megan.
Yeah, Chris, we now know the name of the suspect who is being charged with attempted first-degree murder and first-degree murder. His name is Richard J. Kelkamp, or McPeak as some know him. The 19-year-old shot a 17-year-old in the chest last night. He was then taken to Taylorville Memorial where he died. The other is 18 years old and was shot in the arm and is now at home recovering from injuries he sustained to the armpit. Police arrived on scene last night at 10 o'clock when the fight first broke out in the town square. There they found the two victims, one unresponsive on the ground and the other walking around. Police Chief Wheeler says this is an isolated incident and it's been years since the town has even had a shooting.
Our last shooting that we did have here in Taylorville was 3 years ago, which was a domestic related shooting. So Taylorville is a safe city, and we don't have gun violence. So it was a shock last night that this occurred.
They also say they currently do not have a motive for this shooting. However, the names of the two victims are not being released since they are both juveniles, but an autopsy is scheduled for today. WAND News will continue to bring you updates on this story as they develop. Live in Taylorville, Megan Whitlock, WAND News.
WAND News was the first to tell you about this shooting last night. Be sure to download the WAND News app from the Google Play or the Apple Store. It is free. We will send you a push alert when breaking news happens. New information now at 4. The railroad tracks are clear and running after the Posodum train derailment. This derailment happened earlier this month. The cleanup still going on, though, until probably the second week of June. The cause of the derailment is still not known. No one was hurt. Honoring a hero with a memorial fund. Today, the family of fallen Champaign police officer Chris Oberheim announced they are creating the Chris Oberheim Memorial Fund. Funds from a GoFundMe will be used to create the fund, which the family hopes will change the way the world views police officers. In a statement on the GoFundMe, Officer Oberheim's wife said, quote, "It is absolutely time that we start celebrating heroes and stop victimizing felons. We are committed to fight for them and their families in order to honor my husband. Your continued support will allow us to do that until the job is done," end quote. So far, the GoFundMe has raised more than $205,000. The Champaign City Council will also discuss honoring Officer Oberheim at its next meeting next week. The City Council will vote on naming part of University Avenue between Neal and Chestnut Streets honorary Christopher Oberheim Avenue. Officer Oberheim was shot and killed while responding to a domestic violence call in the early morning hours of May 19th. He was shot 3 times by the suspect, Darion Lafayette. Oberheim's partner, Officer Jeffrey Krill, was shot 3 times. He has been released from the hospital and is recovering. The state's attorney found his use of force in the case was justified.
Well, we're still contending with pockets of light rain across central Illinois. Not everyone's getting wet, but everyone is getting in on the act of the cold, cloudy weather and a gusty wind to go along with that. The wind will settle down a little bit later on tonight, but you could see on our bird's eye view that the rain just continues to blossom in some areas. Even later tonight, there'll be pockets of drizzle, so we're not done just yet. Our raincast will keep it on a damp note into the wee hours of Saturday morning, but the remainder of the holiday weekend looking a-okay until the tail end of Memorial Day. So with clouds on our Flooring America camera network, could it be a cold run, or will the clouds help keep it warmer tonight? There's your answer. It's a cold run, Chris. And I'll be back in a few minutes to tell you how long it'll last.
Not the day to hit the water park, and the countdown is on. We are hours away from opening day of Decatur's newest water park, Splash Cove. It's been years in the making. Karen Eisert live outside the park. Karen, I don't know if you got the best assignment or if you drew the short straw today, because hopefully tomorrow's warmer.
Well, you know, Chris, it is a little cold and a little rainy, but I can tell you the water is actually warm. I stuck my little hand in here a little while ago, but you know, even though this weather is a little dreary, it hasn't stopped the excitement for opening day tomorrow at Splash Cove in Decatur. You know, earlier this week, the ribbon was cut for that little VIP experience for some people within the community, but since 2016, the talks have been to have a water park here in the community, and now that time has officially come. Everyone putting those final touches, getting ready for the big day.
We're super excited, our first summer, so even though it might not be hot and you might not get sweaty, we're still going to be open. We're here for everybody to come check out the new facility.
So Splash Cove is pretty unique. You know, it's got a lazy river, it's got slides, a rock wall, a zip line, even some of these slides, a unique one where you actually stand up and then you'll go completely down. But before you put on the swimsuit, before you put on the sunscreen, there are some things you need to be aware of because we're in that bridge phase with COVID-19. So there are limited capacity here. It's at 50%, so you'll have to register in order to get into Splash Cove. So you can find all of that at splashcove.org. There you can register. Also, when it comes to masks, if you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear one, but if you aren't vaccinated, you'll have to keep your mask on as long as you are outside of the water. For now, reporting live in Decatur, I'm Karen Eisert, WAND News.
I expect you to go down the slides at 5, Karen. The Friday before Memorial Day is known as Don't Fry Friday, and with many packing the water park this weekend, there are some tips to prevent the burn. Experts with the Cleveland Clinic say you should apply 1 ounce of sunscreen to cover your entire body. If using a spray sunscreen, make sure you apply it in a ventilated area and do 2 or 3 passes and then rub it in. Don't forget, sunscreen should be applied about every 2 hours. And today is National Road Trip Day. Illinois' Office of Tourism is celebrating with a summer road trip itinerary for Illinoisans. The Time for Me to Drive road trip has over 60 destinations. The campaign features Springfield and its historic landmarks, the history of Route 66, and the Lincoln Museum.
What I love about Springfield is we have so much to offer for a city our size. For people concerned with health and safety and crowd still, we're a very nice sized city that people can feel very comfortable in coming to visit. And not only are you going to enjoy the sights and attractions that we have, you can come check out our restaurants, our breweries and wineries. We have the full experience.
Good time to take that road trip. A Goodyear survey found 73% of Americans plan to make one this summer. 80% of those traveling will do so in their own car. When asked why, respondents noted it's less expensive. They can stop whenever they want. It's also more flexible to add destinations. And going into the holiday weekend, the national average for gas is about $3.40. Central Illinois averages $3.25. Decatur and Champaign $3.19 if you're in Springfield. Some developing news this afternoon. The CDC now says fully vaccinated children and teens do not have to wear masks or social distance at summer camps. Those who are not fully vaccinated will need to wear a mask when inside and during close contact activities outdoors. Proclaiming an emergency coming up, the work being done to keep a local library open. Plus, we want to hear from you. Head over to the WAND TV News Center 17 page on Facebook and tell us what your perfect hamburger has on it. And then stick around. We will share your responses right here at the end of this show. Speaking of food, WAND News and Papa Murphy's have teamed up for you to win a family pack from Papa Murphy's. One person will be selected to win 2 large topping pizzas, a side, and a soda. This week's winner is Jackie Gopinger. Congratulations, Jackie. Be sure to watch again next week for another chance to win.
Best source for news and weather.
Well, it certainly isn't warm today, but warmer weather is putting stress on the Decatur Library's cooling system. This week, the AC went out completely, so the library needed emergency assistance to keep them from having to temporarily close their doors. WAND's Thomas Garverick explains how an emergency proclamation and city funding will address this critical issue.
If you've been to the Decatur Library recently, you'll notice there's a lot of fans.
The air conditioning side of the HVAC system here at the library failed over the past few weeks.
A temporary fix for the library's air conditioning system is necessary because the city of Decatur deemed it's unsafe for patrons to come to the library without an air conditioning system in place.
Once we start seeing temperatures rise above 85, getting to the 90-degree mark, the library would likely have to close the doors just for protection of their employees and the general public.
The emergency proclamation signed by Decatur city leaders allows the city to spend the necessary funds for the library's temporary AC fix.
The chillers have quit working and ultimately need a short-term repair to buy us a little more time. And so this repair is somewhere between $20,000 and $40,000.
A few years ago, it cost the city of Decatur $500,000 to replace the library's heating system. They estimate the AC portion of the unit will cost the same.
With another $500,000 investment, the HVAC system would largely be entirely replaced. And so that would give us another 15, 20 years on the expected lifespan of that HVAC unit.
In Decatur, Thomas Garvick, WAND News.
City leaders say the temporary AC system should be in place by next week. Funding for a new system will be addressed by the next Decatur City Council meeting. The path to recovery coming up, a Decatur native working to help others struggling with drugs. Spreading the message there is hope after dope. Decatur native Chad Helm was a drug addict for 12 years. He shared his story in Decatur. In the past, he was arrested by Decatur police and sent to prison for over 6 years. He says being arrested and serving times actually saved his life. While in prison, the two officers who initially arrested him became his friends, and they helped to point him in the right direction toward recovery.
And one of the hardest things for people to do is simply say 3 words: I need help. Because so many of us, we allow our pride and ego to take over. And if we can just push that aside and reach out, there's people that are willing to help us.
And Helm says if you do not know where to turn to for help, you can call your local police department and they can help you get the proper resources. Well, it is a play that you have to see to believe. Still to come, how one player stole a run while helping to bring his teammates home. And trending now, a pair of friends could win $2,000 by playing video games. The website Frontier Bundles is offering the cash, but that's not all they're offering. The selected friends will receive a Nintendo Switch Lite, free snacks, and popular games like Mario Kart and Animal Crossing for a 21-hour gaming marathon. You can apply on their website through June 18th. We'll call them Fans Gone Wild. 2 fans have been banned from attending NBA events in Philadelphia and New York for 2 separate incidents involving the team players. The Philadelphia 76ers revoked season tickets after a fan threw popcorn at one of the players during a playoff game. The New York Knicks banned a fan from Madison Square Gardens after they spit on an Atlanta Hawks player. And check this out. The Cubs' Javier absolutely stole a run from the Pirates Thursday with some magical base running. With a runner on second in the top of the third, Javier Baez grounds a ball to the Pirates' third baseman. Baez stops running on to first halfway and makes his way back to his home plate, then giving his teammate the time to round third base. They come all the way home. Then Baez took off for a first, again with no one covering the bag, and somehow Baez ended up on second when no one was left to cover first. I have no idea what I just read. It's time for Fill in the Blank Friday. Each Friday on our Facebook page, we will ask you to fill in the blank to a sentence with your ideas in the comments. So today, we asked you to fill in a perfect hamburger has what on it? Some of the top answers: mustard, pickles, and onions, of course. You can't have a hamburger without cheese, bacon, and a combination of them all. I'm gonna say, I tried this a couple of weeks ago, pineapple and peanut butter.
I could see that.
It was really good, actually.
How about ghost pepper chili?
Ooh.
Or another hamburger.
How about a third hamburger?
I'm in.
Make it a triple.
What is like the largest one? Is it like
I don't know.
2 pounds or something?
Could you imagine? That's a lot.
I wouldn't be able to eat it, that's for sure.
No.
But I'm in. Now I'm starved.
I'm a hamburger person, but it's not a good weekend to grill.
You know what? It's going to be cold. But if you're standing near the grill, usually this time of year, you want to take a back seat and let somebody else do the grilling.
Right.
But now if you are the grilling master, you're near that heat, so why not?
Okay, well, we'll see what rest of the forecast has right after this.